तो थोड़ा हम लोग जब तक और भी डिस्कशन कर लेते हैं मैडम, जो पोस्ट हम इस पे करते, या वो भी आप इसमें करेंगे ये क्वेश्चन आंसर्स भी। तो sharing my card to other groups so that you may be in contact with all to the same facility. Then I am from OB and HR. Currently heading the Department of Business Administration, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule Rural Community College. The State Government University, like the CBC Academy. I belong to Lucknow and I did my entire studies in the University of Lucknow. I initially joined IIM Lucknow as a research associate, started from there only. And then I joined full-time PhD, so that was not allowed from the university. And now I served with HDPI also for 10 years. So it's great that we are here on this table, meeting with all of you. Madam, please, shuru karte hain. Please.
I welcome Dr. Tilika Saxena from Lucknow.
Mahatma Jyotirao Phule Rural University.
University and Dr. Vikash from Yes, Madam, with your permission, we will proceed.
Please proceed. Please proceed.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, madam. I'm sir from Patna and my sir, Madam Rajkumar sir and Deputy HCL. I'll be presenting my presentation on my cases. The title of the cases is Factors Influencing Distribution of Mobile Payments with reference to Delhi NCR. So the examiners had given some feedback, so which we have acted upon. This is the compliance report. The first point was that the synopsis outdated differences must be minimized, so that we have removed and complied with the observation. The second was that the literature survey and research gap identification, we could use more of peer-reviewed research papers and outdated references should be minimized. So that also has been fine-tuned and complied with. The third observation that came was that the analysis and conclusions, objective-wise discussion may be included for future publication. So this has been noted for future publication. It will be compliant. The fourth observation is the citation of references. Minor deviation in terms of use of capital lines and italic letters is observed, which was also corrected. The presentation, this is the sequence of the presentation. There will be an introduction, literature review, research methodology, data analysis and interpretation, discussion and conclusions, followed by bibliography and acknowledgement. So the chapter 1 covers the overview, motivated of the study, relevance of the topic, scope, overview, and the objective and outcome of chapters. So the factors influencing the mobile payments effectively has started in 2016. When the UPI platform was introduced, it enabled all the core mobile payments. And huge traction has been observed in the usage of mobile payments. When it started in 2016, around the time of demonetization, that year the volume of transactions was 1.8 crores. And last financial year, it has reached 13,130 crores, which is an exponential increase in the volumes. And as on date, 632 banks are live on the UPI platform. So the usage is widespread with huge volumes and huge number of entities involved with the whole ecosystem. Motivation of the study comes from a background as I am working for the Reserve Bank of India for more than 32 now. So there's a, so what we have seen is that there has been a wide array of delivery channels for payment, that is from ATM to NEFT, IMPS, RTGS, and as of 2016, the UPI platform. We are not even talking about the cash and the checks because the focus is on the electronic or digital payments. So we, from time to time, we have been adding, and there is a huge bouquet of payment channels that are available. UPI is a generic platform. It offers partnerships with participants, that is third party apps like Google Pay and all. They are not a bank or anything, but they can also leverage on the platform and provide payment options. UPI is also currently used, it is in demand all over the world, but we have given it to limited countries where we are having comfortable political relationships like Singapore, Nepal, Mauritius, UAE, Bhutan, France, and Singapore. So the way it has diffused, it was but natural that I personally wanted to know what exactly is there in the ecosystem which is facilitating such a huge increase in the diffusion of the product or the technology. So the significance is that it is a fast, efficient, and convenient payment channel because the transaction happens in seconds, and the average turnaround time for a UPI transaction is 6 seconds. When it hits all the servers in the ecosystem. Huge investments have been made in the payment infrastructure in terms of servers, in terms of generating and supplying QR codes, and having so many mobile apps available on Play Store and in all this, in the ecosystem. It is supported by the government and the central bank, that is RBI. We are supporting this because it is efficient. One doesn't have to go to the bank, and also we are deficit in terms of physical bank branches. So lot more customers can be served using this digital channel than by the existing number of bank branches. So there is a banking service deficit in terms of the infrastructure is there. So this comes in the way of bridging that gap and providing the banking services to the common man in an efficient manner in terms of cost and time. So this study effort attempts to find the factors influencing the diffusion of mobile phones. The relevance of the topic, payment system is one in which it is a mechanism through which money can move from one account to another account. It could either be to fulfill a payment obligation or to send money to your children. It could be anything. It could be obligatory or just like that. The cost of the economic activity is decreased. If like earlier the check used to take 3 days to get credited. So 3 days, actually there was a lag time of 3 days in which the money could be utilized productively in the economy. So here, since it takes barely 6 seconds to process, so the business transaction turnaround time is reduced to 3 days. So this is the effectiveness. Payment systems, it also gives settlement penalty. जैसे कोई कैश देगा तो वो फेक हो सकता है, मतलब फेक नोट हो सकता है, जाली हो सकता है, तो it gives the settlement penalty कि पैसा मेरे पास आ गया. So it reduces the business cycles and it provides financial inclusion because there are so many farmers, laborers who are working who are not able to go to bank branches to transact. So apps immediately they can be connected, they can make payments, receive payments, send money to children, whatever. So financial inclusion का एक जरिया है, and it offers a personalized banking facility within the confines of their own home. That is, some housewife also is also equipped to be financially happy. The scope of the study, it is the research is carried out to understand the factors influencing the diffusion of mobile payments. The target population is that of the residents of Delhi NCR who are users of mobile payment services. It is to gain insights on the factors influencing diffusion of mobile payments. And why Delhi was chosen is that Delhi has a huge, it is actually a very, it is an aggregate of physical marketplace, that is like Chandigarh, Karolbagh, the huge volumes are transacted. And also it is a hub of digital payment ecosystem. and there are people from all over the country who are residing there. So it is a very, very composite and an aggregate setup where a very balanced study can be carried out. So with that in mind, it was Delhi NCR was chosen, and I also happened to be posted in Delhi. So that was also a factor which actually, which made me choose Delhi as the publication. The literature review is in two sets actually. The first one is that of the shift towards the mobile payment systems to study how actually the payment systems have shifted to a digital mode. So 52 papers were reviewed, and the second set of literature review works on actually the diffusion literature on the actual diffusion of so it comes in two sets, and the relevant, the relevant studies for my thesis were 15 PhD thesis and 4 conference papers and 74 journal articles. The research gap that has been identified that is close to my topic. The first 4 that I'm highlighting here are all journal articles. So one was, it was relating to the mobile payment solutions and innovation resistance theory, which the factors that have been examined here are usage, risk, and value barriers. The second was the framework of mobile banking adoption in India, which actually used the constructs of TAM plus other behavioral factors. So the topic was the same, but some other factors have been used, and the other two journal articles was a framework of mobile banking adoption in India. This also worked on the TAM, along with some other factors like innovativeness, trust, self-efficacy, etc. And the fourth was also an journal article that is exploring the determinants of adoption of UPI, which here actually they have examined the constructs of relative advantage, complexity, observability, etc. So this also is an identity construct we can use in this article, but they are all journal articles. The main gap that has been identified for this thesis is the PhD thesis on adoption behavior of Indian customers towards mobile banking services by Ms. Deepa Verma and Mehta 2016. The population is the same that was in Delhi NCR, and it has examined the external factors in mobile banking services. So it used an innovation model in the diffusion of innovation model, which directly measured satisfaction as a dependent variable. And the findings were that perceived utility and simplicity of use along with the observability and RA had a big impact on how widely people use mobile banking. The gap that has been identified is that although it was on mobile banking, उस समय IMPS था, UPI was not in the picture. So UPI has not been examined, although the topic is closed. So that was in 2016 when UPI 2016 being one. So obviously the previous period का है, so IMPS has been examined and not UPI. तो फिर so ये हमारे लिए अलग है. And दूसरा ये है कि they have used only identity.
नहीं बैठने का जगह अभी ये नहीं तो मैं
The earlier thesis is examined it from a different model methodology. We will be using a hybrid diffusion and a TAM blended model to examine this topic. Papers, journals, and that we have reviewed. In summary, what we have found is that the jurisdictions where mobile payment has diffused are Southeast Asia, Islamic countries, Africa, and a few countries in Europe. Research has been flowing since 2009. दूसरे countries में पहले introduced हुआ है mobile payments. And the most relevant models used in the studies are TAM, followed by the distribution of information theory. The constructs examine the factors of TAM along with the social and cultural factors. Most of the research papers have examined these aspects. So here actually diffusion of innovation theory is a theory. It considers the factors in the ecosystem that help in the diffusion of a technology. The TAM is actually it uses the personal factors to evaluate user satisfaction. So by itself, actually, the ecosystem factors are not explained by TAM, and the actual user satisfaction is not evaluated in the identity model. So here we have rated both the theories to examine whether the external ecosystem factors are having an impact on the factors of TAM, which results in satisfaction, which is also a measurable factor as a dependent variable. So time and identity. So time and identity. Actually, there are a lot of papers which show that there are some patterns in the time and the identity. And both of them they validate each other's results. That is the relative advantage of diffusion of innovation theory and the perceived usefulness of TAM. They are similar. Many research papers have shown that. And relative ease of use of the TAM and the complexity of identity are having similar characteristics.
So madam, we can go straight away to the objectives of the study. Objectives, after that, you may continue with the findings, data findings.
The research question is that yes. So the research objectives is to measure the impact of factors of identity. That is, there are 5 factors of identity: relative advantage, complexity, compatibility, observability, and reliability. So how these factors of identity impact the factors of TAM, that is the perceived usefulness and ease of use. And further, how the perceived usefulness and ease of use are having an impact on the TAM. And the third aspect of the research is that to examine whether the demographic factors impact the user satisfaction. So the hypotheses are as follows: that there are first set of 5 hypotheses are having that impact of reliability on usefulness, relative advantage on perceived usefulness. So all the 5 factors and their impact on the perceived usefulness. The hypothesis from H to H10 is the same impact on the 5 factors of identity over perceived ease of use. Then 11 and 12 are 2 other hypotheses that examine whether the perceived usefulness is the impact of perceived usefulness on user satisfaction and ease of use on user satisfaction. So 13 has a set of 7 hypotheses, which is actually these are the 13 A, B, C, D, E, F. They examine the various demographic factors and their impact on the satisfaction. That is user, that is gender, age group, marital status, educational, so all of it. So this is actually the conceptual model. This explains these are the 5 factors of diffusion theory. These are the factors of TAM, how each of them impact perceived usefulness and perceived.
This model has been developed by you only, or you have sources there?
Actually, from various theories, we have examined how they impact, and this is our
So you have proposed the argument.
So at the first leg, it is the factors of identity over factors of TAM, and then factors of TAM over user satisfaction. So the research design, it is descriptive, that means it gives a detailed portrait of the user behavior. It is quantitative and it is cross-sectional. So the sample size determination according to the population of Delhi, the 167 lakhs was the population in the last census, which would actually be 3.2 million. So accordingly, In terms of the 10 times rule of thumb, it was 430 based on the number of individuals. The G power test, it was score of 146 and Copeland's formula score was 385. And for this, we have collected a set of 684 samples. So the questions of the construct here, the compatibility, complexity, relative advantage and observability. Compatibility has a 4-point scale, it is adapted from. So the participants were asked to express their level of agreement on a 5-point level. So here also the complexity had 4 items, which was rated on a 5-point Likert scale. Relative advantage had 8 items, which was also.
So it is a pre-validated questionnaire or you have designed it and then checked out the variability? You have designed and then locally reliability and validity you have tested. So what is the value of Cronbach alpha for the test?
The reliability was tested, the product alpha actually for all of them was above 0.5. Shall I go back and start?
No. You come to the findings part, findings and conclusions.
So
Major
the
findings.
relationship testing, actually, the hypothesis. Just to give you again. So ये पहला ट्रायलेबिलिटी का ये सपोर्टेड है रिलेटिव एडवांस ओके अच्छा तो बोलते हैं इसमें yes. First hypothesis is that there's a significant impact of trialability on perceived usefulness. This has been accepted. There is a positive association. The second is that the significant impact of relative advantages perceived usefulness on mobile payment system users. This has not been accepted in the testing. And
There you go. ആർക്കുണ്ട് എങ്ങനെയാണ് കുറവുണ്ടാകും
actually, this has been supported. It has been proved. The impact of complexity and perceived usefulness. The fourth hypothesis was compatibility had an impact on the perceived usefulness. So H5 hypothesis 5 was that there is a significant impact of observability on perceived usefulness. So this has been accepted. 661 was the trialability. First 5 you have usefulness, perceived usefulness with them. Next 5 are on ease of use. So trialability, impact on trialability on ease of use, this has been also supported. And the 7th one is that the relative advantage. Relative advantage on both the accounts has not been supported. So the H8 is the significant impact of complexity and impact of complexity and ease of use. This also has been supported. H9 was compatibility. Compatibility, the impact of compatibility on perceived usefulness, this has not been supported. So 3 out of the 12 hypotheses have not been supported, 9 have been supported. So the 10th and the final one was the impact of observability on perceived usefulness of the mobile, which is also supported. In the next leg, we have the 2 hypotheses, that is the impact of the factors of time on satisfaction, perceived usefulness and ease of use. So both of them have been supported. The next we come to the hypothesis 13, which is having a set of hypotheses. So here what the mandatory U-test has tested the significant impact of different genders. Here it has been found that the gender has no impact on the satisfaction. And different age groups, here it has been found that different age groups do have an impact on satisfaction, and the age group of 16 to 45 reported higher satisfaction due to greater familiarity with the digital tools, which was lesser in the age group of 55 to 65. So, marital status had no impact on the satisfaction levels. This is so different education, the impact of different educational levels on user satisfaction. Here it was reported that actually यहाँ पे एक ऐसा आया है कि people who are having advanced higher educated people who are having higher satisfaction with PhD holders and all, they displayed higher satisfaction due to their ability to navigate and customize these activities. The next one is that the different occupations, the impact of different occupations and their impact. So different set of people from belonging to different occupations have different satisfaction levels. The corporate professionals and the government employees, they show higher satisfaction due to frequent use and demand frequency. And by private business owners, the different strategy. So occupation specific requirements and access to the occupation did have an impact on the satisfaction level. Then different income levels when that was examined. So income levels here, different income levels did not have any impact on the satisfaction. Duration of payment. Okay, so now we come to the conclusions. Conclusions here, it is an empirical test on the model with the survey among users of mobile payment technology at Delhi NCR. It confirmed the basic hypothesis of the model. The model is useful for understanding the factors influencing diffusion of mobile payment technology in Delhi NCR. To contribute to existing findings, it was observed that the relative advantage did not have a significant influence on perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use. So this is something contrary to the other literature that is there. And in terms of compatibility में ये मिला कि perceived usefulness के लिए it had a significant influence, but ease of use में it had no influence. And the managerial implications are that the managers should ensure that the development of the apps they align broadly with the other apps in the ecosystem like Swiggy, Amazon, and all these apps should be integrated so that the payment is facilitated seamlessly. Providing comprehensive training and support services for continuing with the high user satisfaction that is impacted with proper support like Amazon uses all and this. Managers should stay informed of the emerging trends in the area of payment technology and adapt to provide a higher user experience and satisfaction and foster local communication channels to gather insights and feedback from all stakeholders. And the developers should ensure, this is for the development part, the technology part. Developers should ensure that the product should be simple, easy to navigate and align with other online apps providing goods and services. They should provide trials. The trialability में दिखा गया कि trialability has an impact. So they should give opportunity to the user to try out the product with adequate support and in-app help features which will remove uncertainty about the product and foster diffusion and adoption of mobile payments. Developers should focus on streamlining processes with the simple and clear navigation with adequate security measures and sustain high levels of user satisfaction through analysis of feedbacks and application. The political implication is that it builds on TAM by placing these concepts within the framework of IDT. The favorable correlation between the factors of IDT and TAM, they emphasize the significance of aligning technological innovations with user values, practices, and lifestyle. The study addresses the theoretical gaps by showing how IDT constructs enhance the constructs of TAM, and it provides a comprehensive understanding of the adoption of technologies in mobile payments. So these are the applications and the limitations. The first limitation is that it is limited to the residents in Delhi NCR. The other thing that we have not taken up in this research is the variants of mobile payment, that is QR code, NFC, and the other things we have not analyzed the segment of the mobile payment framework. And the influence of social media shopping via WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram, that is also an area worth investigating, which has not been undertaken. Also, the role of Bharat Bill Pay. These are the areas which have not been specifically covered, but would be taken up in further research. And
Okay, very nice work indeed. And so my question, almost most of the points have been discussed openly in the forum. That some contradiction part is also there as per what you identified, the research gap constitutes the objectives, and when you came to the conclusion. So that contribution as an employee also in the banking industry, what do you think, how this contributions can be rectified in the due course of time? And what are the measures that can be taken up by this particular banking system, of course, in our country, to take up the things in the manner which you have proposed for the better results? Okay, the contradiction parts were there in the conclusion. So what do you think? As an employee in the banking industry, you are only not a researcher, to my knowledge. You are also a person who belongs to that particular category, apart from being a researcher in this particular. So why these contradictions?
as far as this relative advantage is concerned, in the context of Delhi, what we feel is that the mobile payments has become so mature in the utilization, we are using it day in and day out. So now people are not finding that that is a relative advantage. They are used to it as if it is a regular use. Because every day we use some 8 or 10 mobile payments. So that has become part of our habit. Like earlier from cash they did, so now people are doing mobile payment. So possibly that could be a reason why they are not treating it as an advantage, because when it is very new, we think of it as an advantage. Especially in Delhi, it has matured. It is advantage.
എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഓർക്കുന്ന കോഡിങ്ങാ
This is my understanding, because in Delhi, everybody is using them all the time, even for booking, even for payment of service खरीदते हैं. So that aspect of relative advantage in Delhi context doesn't exist. That is my view. And in terms of this compatibility and all, there also a small contradiction is there. So what I feel is that perceived ease of use, when they are saying perceived ease of use, there is no significant impact. It comes, this research is actually, this aspect is not, although it is there in the theory, in countries in Asia where we have this, if I can call it, we have this jugaad mentality where कुछ भी होता है तो हम करके उसको overcome करते हैं. This is prevalent in China, in Taiwan, in Pakistan, and in India. So people don't think of it as a complex thing. So if you look at the research in this one, from this perspective of the jurisdictions where we are used to jugaad, so we
ആ സുനന്ദ വരാറുണ്ട് എന്റെ
they try to overcome.
അല്ല പ്രാക്ടീസ്
We think that this could be a factor, because even when we have any problem, so these are basically behavioral things that are prevalent in countries like Pakistan, in India, in China, and Taiwan. These factors available here, where the jugaad concept is so strong that people want to experiment and overcome. It could be possibly that.
I would advise that this report should be submitted to the banking systems also, so that what you have proposed, the models and everything, it is quite relevant, and it is going to work out very feasibly in the working conditions. So from my side, it's all done. Congratulations to Madam, to Supervisor, External Examiner, Madam Arjun.
Yes, Vikas sir.
A very good afternoon to everybody present there. Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible? Hello? Ma'am, am I audible? Okay. So somehow let me just see. So is it fine now, sir? Yes. Okay, great, great. So first of all, I would like to um, tender my apologies for being a few minutes late. I was not able to catch up at the start. Secondly, congratulations, ma'am, on a very relevant topic and a good research. And do I still get to ask a question, or should I straight away reach to the congratulations part? Because hopefully all the questions are answered already in her presentation. So I don't think I need to repeat it. So I must say very relevant and very I would say good research done. Congratulations, ma'am, on successful completion of your research work. I know it must have been hard work. And congratulations to your guide, Dr. Mridanish Jha sir, for the support, and congratulations to the entire team.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, with your permission,
Yes, sir. Yes, Dr. Vikas and Dr. Tulika Madam, with your permission, can we declare Shashindra as award PhD?
Yes, ma'am, please, of course.
Yes, madam, please. Congratulations, madam, congratulations, Dr. Rajan, for successful completion of this research work.
Photo is
Photo important.
and second.